the Jewish population, they have a belief that they have ceremonial impurity.
Yes.
So if you look at the Wailing Wall in that part of the world, there's not as many Jews there as people would frequent, say, mosques. So from Masjid al-Haram, Masjid al-Nabawi, millions of people
Kaaba.
come into it. That's right. Yet the population that visit there is considerably less.
And one of the Wailing Wall, the temple.
Yes, the temple. So one of the reasons is why, and the answer is they're considered ceremonially unclean or impure. And one of the ways to become ceremonially impure is if you have touched a dead person. So everyone's had an uncle or an auntie or a cousin that has passed away. You obviously go to the burial, you obviously touch and kiss and this and that. So you become, and then to make it worse, anyone that touches someone that has touched a dead person, you become ceremonially impure.
Yes.
So how do you remove the impurity? So they believe that the red heifer, the red cow, must be sacrificed, and the ashes of that used in a special process to cleanse people from their ceremonial impurity. So they have been searching eagerly, and there's an actual organization that's responsible for this. They have been searching for this red heifer so that they could get the ceremonial cleansing.
There's a special cow, you're saying?
Yes, there's a special heifer. Yeah, that's right. The cow is heifer is a breed.
Yes.
So this cow they were looking for, and they found one in 2015, and then at the last minute they found the black hair on it, and I think another one they found in 2018, and under the arm there was another color hair, so it couldn't meet their standards. And then they've been in touch with Texas recently, where they are unnaturally selecting, genetically modifying the rest of it. Until now they have 5 heifers, heifers, cows.
Is there anywhere someone can look this information up that you just mentioned? Yes,
Google it. It's all over the place. This is all over the place, and it's there now. It's so they found these cows, red cows, that are spotless basically, and they meet all the requirements. They've never worn a collar, they've never been mated, they never had children, and all the rest of it. And now that has actually been transported back to Israel now from Texas. There's 5 of them or 4 of them, just for good measure. They only need one. And their plan is, and then the one who should do the process has to be someone that is also clean, like a priest. So they have been for years bringing up priests with the proper rituals to make sure that they're ceremonially pure now. So a pure priest or ceremonially pure priest will come and sacrifice the heifer, and its ashes will be spread. And this will be a huge historical, spiritual event where I anticipate millions of people will come from around the world to experience the cleansing and the spiritual and the emotional high that will be there. I foresee that, this is just my guesswork, and I could stand corrected on this. I foresee that with millions of people there and the ecstasy that will come with it, then very quickly it can be claimed that people got out of control and they entered the mosque and destroyed the place, and now a temple can be built on top of it. So the verse of the Quran, وَلِيَدْخُلُوا الْمَسْجِدَ كَمَا دَخَلُوهُ أَوَّلَ مَرَّةٍ, as they used to enter it in their multitudes, they will enter it again after the cleansing happens. Second sign. A third sign, وَلِيُتَبِّرُوا مَا عَلَوْا تَتْبِيرًا, and they will destroy whatever you have built up from buildings. So we see these days in Gaza and elsewhere high-rise buildings, and a rocket strikes down the bottom and it comes down to the ground. So long as they're in rain, that's another tafsir of it. So long as they're in rain, during that time they will continuously or regularly be a cause of destruction. So irrespective. So when those 3 things happen, those are the signs. Yes. The first, the humiliation of the Muslim, of the local population,
which is happening.
It's been happening for a long time. And the second one is the entering of the masjid again. And the third one, the destruction of whatever has been built up. And in this regard, I feel that it will not be limited to where it is currently. It will expand, because the khitab is to the Muslims and whatever you have built up. So I foresee other cities, and we're seeing now the attacks in southern Lebanon and expansion of the war.
We're seeing the flattening of Gaza, literally. Flattening of Gaza.
So I want to make this part clear again, because there are silly people out there. We're discussing prophecy in this instance, And
there's margin of error in the way we interpret
there
things.
is, but at the same time, this is not anti-Semitism, because
Yes.
they'll be keen to do that as well. We are academically, technically unpacking prophecy
Within the Quran, within our revelation.
Yeah, within our revelation. And nations come and go. So some time ago there was the USSR, huge bloc, but they're no longer in their current form or in their previous form. And the Ottomans were existing as no longer. So there's a time nations have a shelf life, after which the system changes, the world changes. And for us, there are certain key moments where nations will undo themselves, and they pretty much undo themselves.
Yes.
So when enough evil and vice and cruelty is experienced, then Allah Rabbul Izzah changes the matters in a way that replaces them with newer models.
In September 2022, 5 red heifers were flown from the state of Texas into the occupied lands. They paid around $100,000 for each cow. Since last year, one of these cows have been disqualified, but the other 4 cows continue to be suitable candidates for the sacrifice. To better understand what this ritual is, we must look at what is stated in their scripture regarding it. In the book of Numbers chapter 19, it is stated that,
"And the Lord spoke to Moses and to Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord has commanded, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they bring you a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And you shall give her to Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp. And one shall slay her before his face, and Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh, and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood, and hyssop, and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer."
the red heifer is a female bovine which has never been pregnant or milked or yoked, also known as the red cow. It was brought to the priests as a sacrifice according to the Torah, and its ashes were used for ritual purification. According to their rabbis, since the time of Moses, only 9 red heifers have been sacrificed. The last time one was sacrificed was just before the Second Temple was destroyed by the Romans, on the Mount of Olives opposite to the Temple Mount. According to their rabbis, when the 10th cow is to be sacrificed, they will enter into the age of Dajjal. But to them, he will be their awaited Messiah. The Temple Institute is preparing for this event to take place soon. After the sacrifice takes place, you will see an unprovoked attack against Al-Aqsa like never before. Their intentions are utter destruction, to the point in which they can commence building the Temple of Dajjal on top of the ruins of Al-Aqsa. They believe once the 3rd temple is completed, it will speed up the coming of their Messiah, known to Muslims as the Dajjal, who will deceive the entire world, except those who have true faith in their Creator. The true believers will see through the deception and lies and will not be manipulated. It is clear that the end times are getting closer, and the solution is to connect with our Creator unlike ever before. Once the connection is established, the guidance will come from the source of all guidance.
The children of Israel, the Jewish people, for the most part, although they're in different groups, but the Orthodox Jews believe that we are very close to the end of time. And they believe that if they are able to take over Jerusalem and rebuild the Temple of Solomon. And the problem is that the Temple of Solomon, above the temple, is Masjid Al-Aqsa. It is the 3rd sacred building for the Muslims, and there is the Dome of the Rock, and these are all established long before the present day. Masjid Al-Aqsa was actually, after Mecca was established, it was the next house for the worship of one God. So they believe that Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, that he established his kingdom and he built a temple And that temple was in the area of Al-Aqsa, in that compound. Of course, if you look at honest historians, they will tell you that the archaeological digs that have been done, because if you go to the complex, I visited the complex myself, and I was able to sort of go down in the beginning of one of the tunnels. And they have dug tunnels underneath Al-Aqsa to find the remains of the Temple of Solomon. But up until now, there's nothing there. They have not found anything. And some say that the Temple of Solomon was not actually there, it was somewhere else. But it is their understanding that this is the area. And so this is part of the reason why you're seeing the tension that is going on there. Not only just the political Zionism to take over the region, but also the so-called religious people believe that they must take over the Temple Mount, build the new Temple of Solomon, and they have to put up the manara. These are lights, candles, and a special type of material has to be used. And according to what I've heard, they found it. They have the materials. Then they are supposed to make a special platform to sacrifice a red heifer, a red cow. And from what has been publicized, they have found the cow. And they actually were raising cows in parts of Europe, and then they switched to Texas, because I guess they have good cattle in Texas, you know, the cowboys, right? But they switched to Texas, and they were literally breeding red cows. And that means that if a cow is brought to their rabbis and it has one hair that is white or one hair that is black, not accepted. It has to be this red color, and it's sort of a maroonish off red, but it has to meet this thing. And from what we understand, they have found it. So everything is set, but the only problem is Al-Aqsa complex. So this is you see the tension that is happening in that area. The point is that they believe that if they make that sacrifice, then a Messiah will appear. A Messiah will lead them to victory and give them dominion over the earth.